6:48, time for the morning rush. The state's Department of Health says that they are working with the governor's office, that is to continue a new mobile outreach project to help the homeless in rural New Mexico. Now, through the Mobile Homelessness Response Demonstration Project, organizations, they were able to meet with the more than 3,000 individuals to provide services. The department's secretary says that they are working with the governor's office now on the budget.
One city councilor is calling for a deeper look into the crash involving Police Chief Harold Medina. Back in February, Chief Medina says gunfire caused him to speed through a red light and crash into a Ford Mustang. Councilor Luis Sanchez is now filing a complaint with the Law Enforcement Academy Board and State Department of Public Safety.
One of the biggest hospital construction projects in the state is pushing back its opening date. UNM hospital officials say we will have to wait a little bit longer before the tower is ready to receive patients because of a few factors. As of right now, the expected November date has been pushed back to June of next year. Ryan.
And yesterday, the lowest high temperature in August so far this year, 88 degrees. That's our average high, and that is the 11th longest stretch of 90 degrees plus in Albuquerque, again, for really ever since really July 27th, and we'll continue to see more rain and below normal high temperatures for some ahead.
An Arizona woman is in custody in Gallup this morning, accused of stabbing a man at a local grocery store. Police say just before 4 yesterday afternoon, 41-year-old Sheila James stabbed a man in the stomach at the Safeway on Highway 491. The man was taken to the hospital and is now in stable condition. James is facing charges including attempted murder and aggravated battery.
An Albuquerque woman is pleading not guilty. This comes after being accused of carjacking a Metro Court judge. Back in May, police say that Joshua Dawson and Daniela Sandoval threatened a judge with a BB gun before stealing her car near Candelaria and Louisiana. Sandoval pleaded not guilty. Dawson, meanwhile, recently pleaded no contest.
The man accused of causing a high-speed chase in southwest Albuquerque is now facing federal charges. Back in January, the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office says they recognized a car that led them on a chase twice that month. Deputies say when the driver identified as Jude Schulte was arrested, they found a stolen gun on him. He's now facing federal charges for being a felon in possession of a firearm. Ryan.
And flood watches in effect for the Sangre de Cristo Mountains in the Lincoln National Forest. Some light rain this morning in Ruidoso. Expect more flooding, slow-moving thunderstorms this afternoon. A very slight chance of storms in Albuquerque. Drier in really the Four Corners and far southeast of Mexico, but more chances of rain are ahead.
Routine restaurant inspections will be pausing in Albuquerque. The Environmental Health Department says they need time to teach inspectors how to enforce some newly adopted rules. The health department says that even though the inspections are paused, they are still taking allegations of unsafe eateries seriously, and customers should not be worried about eating out.
There are plans to rebuild a downtown Albuquerque laundromat after the owner was forced to tear it down. The washed-up laundromat on Central and 11th Street was demolished yesterday after a fire reached an electrical box back in February, causing it to explode. Owner Hunter Green says he has plans to rebuild. Ryan.
And taking a look at traffic right now, no major accidents or slowdowns. Those green colors and arrows indicative of smooth sailing conditions for the most part. Now taking a look at the Big I, we are dealing with pretty good conditions for the most part. Only some minor slowdowns in I-40 East. We'll keep you updated on that.
The San Diego Humane Society released 9 orphaned coyotes back into the wild after raising them at the Ramona Wildlife Center. The coyotes, now about 6 months old, arrived at the center at different times between March and May when they were around 4 to 6 weeks old. Once ready, the team placed them in an outdoor habitat and monitored them from a distance.
And it's time now for the 5 facts.
At number 5, routine restaurant inspections will be pausing in Albuquerque. The Environmental Health Department says they need time to teach inspectors how to enforce newly adopted rules. The new food safety ordinance adds a yellow category in addition to green and red. The yellow label signifies that a restaurant needs some fixing but does not warrant a shutdown. The health department says that even though inspections are paused, they're still taking allegations of unsafe eateries seriously, and customers should not be worried about eating out.
At number 4, there are plans to rebuild a downtown Albuquerque laundromat. That comes after the owners were forced to tear down what was left of it. The surveillance footage from February shows what may have caused the blaze at the washed-up laundromat on Central and 11th. A fire broke out at a nearby homeless camp, and it reached an electrical box, causing that to explode. That building was demolished yesterday.
And number 3, more flooding ahead with slow-moving storms near Ruidoso. Up until this weekend, we could be seeing at least an inch, potentially, of rain. Likely, though, burn scar flash flooding today, at least in the Sacramento Mountains. Even some rain near Albuquerque, Santa Fe. Of course, many events this weekend. More clouds, more rain, and below normal temperatures for some.
At number 2, an Albuquerque city councilor is calling for a deeper look into the crash involving police chief Harold Medina. Back in February, Chief Medina says the gunfire caused him to speed through a red light that was at Central and Alvarado, crashing into a Ford Mustang and seriously injuring the driver. APD's internal affairs have found that Medina violated the department policy for failing to safely operate his vehicle and for failing to turn on his body camera. Councilor Luis Sanchez has now filed a complaint with the Law Enforcement Academy Board and State Department of Public Safety, calling on them to investigate any potential misconduct.
At number 1, state lawmakers invested $4 million into new mobile outreach to help the homeless in rural New Mexico. Yesterday, the department updated lawmakers on its mobile homelessness response demonstration project. Through the project, organizations were able to meet with more than 3,000 individuals to provide services. DOH Secretary Patrick Allen says there are resources to continue funding that project, and they are working with the governor's office now on the budget.